Okay, here we go. Let's review this. I'm going to give you, let's go back at looking at numbers and factors. What does it mean if I give you a number that I need you to factor out to show me how it is a product of its factors? Let's start with an easy one here. Let's say I give you the number 435, and I'm telling you that that's the product of three prime numbers. And I'm going to give you one of them. One of them is 29. How would you find the other two?
You divide it?
You divide. I'm going to break down this 435 and divide it by the first one, right? By 29. There's only one given. So divide by the factor. 29 into 435. Well, you're not going to do it like this because you have calculators. But for the polynomial functions, you got to do it like this, right? Long division. And what is the dividend here? What is this number that you get here when you divide? 1?
15.
15, right?
Yeah.
You get 15. Just use your calculator. 435 divided by 29 is 15. So what does that mean? Right? Because we get remainder 0. What does that mean? That means that 435 can now be written as the product of what? Well, 29 times 15. Isn't that what we've been doing with polynomials? Yeah, right? But I just told you that this one has three factors, three prime factors. I know I can't break down 29 anymore. But now you look at this 15, and can this one now break down into two numbers that we know? Yes. So we still 29 is still part of the numbers here, right? And then you're gonna get it to a point where eventually you divide, so till you get to a point like here where where this part that's left is easy to factor, and you'll figure it out. And this one 15, well, yeah, 3 times 5. And sure enough, if you check on your calculator and you do 29 times 3 times 5, it'll give you 435, right? Okay, we've done this already. That's what we've done already. Now let me tell you what we're going to do now. Here it goes. I'm going to give you a bigger number, or in the case of pre-calculus, a much larger polynomial. So let's go with, how about 30,107? That is the number. That is the number that you are going to have to break down and give me the factors of, yeah? But I'm telling you that this one has not 3, not like over here, not 3. Guess what? 4. You have to find 4. It's a product of 4 prime numbers, yeah? Okay, so I'm going to give you one of them. Ready? 17. All right, go ahead and find the other 3. Well, you would divide. You're going to divide by 17, but I'm sure you're not doing the long division. You're using your calculator. Is 17 a factor of 30,107? Yeah. What do you get? What do you get?
1,771.
How much?
1,771.
1,000?
Oh wait.
What?
Yeah.
1,000.
1,000. What? 1,000.
771.
771, like that? Does that, everybody agree with that? Okay, because I got remainder 0. So right now I know that it's, well, I used to only have 1. Does everybody agree now I have 2? Now I know that it's 17 times 1,771. Now, how are you going to break this down? You can't, right? It's too big of a number. It's too big of a number. It wasn't like over here when I divided by 29 and then it was 15 and you're like, 15? Psh, I could figure that out. Okay, so what's going to happen is I'm going to actually have to give you a second. I'm gonna give you another hint. I'm gonna give you a second factor. I'm gonna give you two factors. So, because without it, this, I could be here all day guessing and stuff. But no, they're gonna give you another factor. Okay, I'm gonna tell you the other factor. So they'll actually be giving you two factors. The first one was 17 and the second one is 23. What would you do now? Yeah, Moises, what would you do?
You divide the 1,771 by 23.
You would divide 23 into what? Would you divide 23 into this big one, the first one? Or would you divide the 23 into this dividend here, into the 1771? What do you think? Yeah, you wouldn't divide this into this one. You just broke this down. Huh? Yeah, that's what he said. That's what I'm making sure. Because somebody did that. I talked about it in period one, and I said, once you divide this one, guess what they did with the second one? They divided it back into the big one. Why? You divided into this one. Now 23, don't divide it back into the big one. We already broke it down. Divide it into the 1771. Does that make sense? Yeah. And I know you're not doing long division because these are numbers, but what do you get? 77? Oh, good. 77. So, does everybody agree pretty much once I get it down to maybe like a 2-digit number, I can figure it out? I can figure out the other two? Because right now I got 17 times 23 times 77. But this 77, I know what, I think I can figure out that 77 and know what the last two are. Yeah? What are the last two, everybody? 7 times 11. Okay, so this is it. They're going to give you a much larger polynomial, and they're going to give you two factors. You're going to get the first one, divide it into the main, and then once you divide it, you divide the second one, not back into the first one, into what? Into the dividend, right? This other number, this other part you got here. And break it down further. Yeah? Okay, so here we go. Look at your worksheet. And here we go. Right? What do you see here? Well, we have seen polynomials to the power of 4, but why is this one different? Why is this one to the power of 4 different from the one from the other assignment from last week? Because if you remember the one from last week, I told you to always look for a GCF, and there was an X. Remember, there was an X you can factor out? They all had an X, 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 X. See, this one doesn't have an X. You cannot factor an X. So it has to stay to the power of 4. If it's to the power of 4, that means that I'm going to be needing to find 4 factors like this, yeah? But what's given? What's this right here that's given, guys?
2 zeros.
2 of them. Now these are zeros, but aren't they like factors in disguise? Yeah? If 2 is a 0, what is a factor? X minus 2, right? Isn't that the parentheses for the factor? For the positive 2, it's x minus 2. And for the negative 2?
X plus 2.
X plus 2, right? They work hand in hand. You got to know how to go from the factor to the 0 or from the 0 back to the factor, yeah? So aren't they already giving you half of them right here? Out of the 4 that you need to find, aren't they giving you 2? Yeah. So one of them is x minus 2. The other one is x plus 2. All right. What are you going to do? What are you going to do to figure out what the other 2 are? Moises?
You could do synthetic division with,
We haven't learned synthetic division.
or long division.
You're going to have to divide. You're going to have to divide by the first one first, and then by the second one after that, yeah? Okay, so go ahead. Let's divide by the first by the first given factor. And the x minus 2 into and you know your remainder better be 0. So when you do that, you will get Here we go. If you don't know how to long divide, that's your fault. Okay, so don't tell me what you got, but I'm just gonna do it real quick right here. Mrs., did you do it like this?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so you guys should have, I'm not showing the long division, you should have done it. You should have x cubed plus 5x squared minus 4x minus 20. Yeah, I didn't do it the long division way, but you should have already divided it. You should know that it's all correct when you get remainder 0. What do we do now? I divided it by the first one and I got this dividend here, this x cubed plus 5. I know it's right because remainder 0. What's the next move, guys? Next, what? Divide by what? Divide this. You're going to divide this x cubed plus 5 minus this dividend. Don't go back and divide it into the main one. Divide this by the what? By the second given what? By the second, no, well, it wasn't given, but the second factor. Which one's the second factor? We already used this one, the x minus 2. So guess what? Now you're going to divide this by what? X plus 2. So x plus 2 into, again, not into the main one. We just broke it down to this, into this one, yeah? Into the x cubed plus 5x squared minus 4x minus 20. Okay, and I'm going to save you some time and do it real quick over here. You guys should know how to do long division, leave some room, so. Anybody did it already? Okay, don't tell me what it is. Okay, finished. So you should have, when you do the long division, x squared plus 3x minus 10. Is that correct, Moises?
Which one?
X squared plus 3x minus 10. It is. Okay. So I divide it. I'm not showing the long division. You can do it on your own later. But when you do and you get it right and you know it's right because you get remainder 0, now you're left with this. You're eventually breaking everything down until you get to this. What? A quadratic. Once I got a quadratic, it's factorable. So what do I know? Right now I know that this polynomial function is the product of x minus 2, which was the first one they give you, times x plus 2, times this, yes? Times this. Next dividend, which is the x squared minus 3x, plus 3x minus 10. And then this. Now that you got it to a quadratic, you better be all over it how to factor that. What will be the factor form of
X plus 5,
x plus 5x
X minus 2.
minus 2? These are the easy ones, right? What numbers multiply to a negative 10 and add up to a positive 3? That's x plus 5 and x minus 2. Correct. This is the factored form. Remember, you're going to have to give me the factored form of the polynomial. Yes?
You know how you said that when we have to
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that. Very good. Very good. I hope this is what you're talking about. She's talking about, and I was gonna say, is there another way that you might see this, another form that they might write this when you check the answer key on your assignment there? Yes, there's another form. Because there's two of these that are exactly the same. What would be, or, yeah, they're gonna put these two that are the same. So if those two are that are the same, they might put x minus 2 what? Squared. Everybody see that? They might put x minus 2 squared, and then the x plus 2, and the x plus 5. The order doesn't matter, right? Doesn't matter which order it is, because multiplication, can write it whichever way, but it means the same thing.
Does it matter how you write it?
Does it matter how you write it?
If you write it first way or the second way?
Yeah, I'm just saying, if they have it like this, okay, you're good. And if they have it like this, well, just know that it's saying the same thing. Yeah. Okay. And what's the second part of these problems that you do? You got to find the zeros. The zeros. Now, I wouldn't look here. I would look back up here where I can see all four and just list them out. Everybody agree it's going to be positive 2, negative 2, negative 5, and positive 2. You guys agree with that? Yeah, that's correct. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just telling you that when you check the answer key, it's probably not going to say that. It's probably going to say this. It's probably going to say negative 2 for that one. It's going to say negative 5 for that one. And for these two, it'll say this. 2, go ahead, you said it. Multiplicity 2. Do you guys remember that? This number 2, I'm seeing multiple of them. How many of them are, how many multiples of them are there? 2. If it was a 3, I would see 3. How many multiples of them? 2. There's only 2. If there was 3 of these 2s, if there was 3 of them, what would it say? It would say 2 multiplicity what? 3. Okay? That's all that was in the other assignment as well. All right? Okay. Let's go ahead and try number 2 on your own. Go ahead, I'll give you a head start. It's to the power of 4. There's no GCF, but they're giving you well, they're giving you 2 zeros, but if you know the zeros, you better know how to write them as factors. Okay, go ahead and try those on your own. You guys can practice on your own the long division. So we know that this is going to be 4 because it's to the power of 4. And the 2 that are given are, if the 0 is 1, that's x minus 1. Yeah? Bless you. And if this one's positive 3, it's minus 3. Yeah? They're giving you 2 of them. X minus 1 and x minus 3. So you're going to divide by one of these first. Maybe some of you wrote the negative 3 first. I don't know. It doesn't matter which one you divide by first. But divide by one of them. So let's say I do this one first. Yeah, you got to do long division. If you know synthetic division, you'd be done quick. But okay, I'm going to save you the time and trouble. You can leave some space. And I'm going to do this one real quick and divide it. Let's see. You're going to get, let's see. So it's okay, I'll get 0. Get 0, that's fine, that's correct. So it's 1, 1, 0, 0, negative 7, negative 7, negative 6. No, that's wrong.
Positive 6.
This is plus 6.
Where?
The top 6.
Oh, the last, I copied it wrong? That's it, see? It's a plus, so I'm ready. Okay, I copied this wrong. All right, so it works. Okay, so this is going to be x cubed. plus 0x squared minus 7x plus 6. Okay, so when you do the long division, oh, that's another thing. Yeah, make sure if there's any missing terms, you put a 0. Okay, so when you divide, is that good, Moises? You got that? I got x cubed. There was no x squared, so you won't see it here. Minus 7x minus 6. You won't see it here, but you better believe when you do the next division, yeah, and you will get remainder 0. When you divide now the second factor into this dividend, right? Now you're going to divide again by the x minus 3. Here's what you got to watch out for, and I did have an assignment where if there's missing terms, you need to put that space for the missing term. See, there's a missing x squared term here. Okay, so you would do the long division here, and you better get remainder 0, but I'm going to do it real quick. Over here. And that would be 1, 0, negative 7, 1, 0, negative 7, 6. So that's 1, 3, 3, 2, 6. Is that correct? Okay, so that would be x squared plus 3x plus 2. This is 1x squared plus 3x plus 2. When you do the long division, I know you're not doing it now, but I'm telling you, if you get it right, and you know you got it right because we get remainder 0, you'll get this x squared plus 3x plus 2. Yeah? All right. So I divided by the first one, I divided it by the second one, and I'm left with this dividend, yes? So what do I know right now? I know that my polynomial is the first one that they gave me, the second one that they also provided there, and then times this. But I'm telling you at this point, once you break it down to quadratic, you better know how to factor this. You will be able to factor it once it gets to x squared, quadratic. So what will be the last two parentheses here, everybody? Let's see. X minus 1, x minus 3. How does this factor? Gee, I wonder what numbers multiply to 2 and add up to 3. Oh my God. X plus 2, x plus 1, right? Of course. Too easy. Is that right? Yeah. This is it. Can somebody think of another form they might write this just to be fancy and tricky? I don't have any of them to repeat, but I know that there might be something that they can offer there. Jasmine?
X is plus or minus 1.
Correct. Remember conjugates? For this x plus 1 times x minus 1, they might write it like this. They probably won't, but just so that you know, in case you have this and you see something crazy there, you'll see the x minus 3, you'll see the x plus 2, but for these conjugates, for the x plus 1 and the x minus 1, they'll multiply them. Anybody can tell me what x plus 1 times x minus 1 is? X squared minus 1. They might, but just letting you know, right? Just the way over here, when you had the two of them that were the same, they wrote it as squared. While this one, when they're different, they might do that. And I know they've done that in a previous assignment. Okay, so whatever. And then the zeros, well, for this x minus 1, it's 1. Oh, those are the ones they gave you, right? They gave you the 1, they gave you the 3. So what are the last two? Negative 2 and negative 1. That's it. Okay, we got it?